Hi students, here's an example to get you started on the asynchronous work for today. The example, Polly's Playground Company installed a slide with a length of 10 meters and a height of 3 meters. Find the ground length of the slide. So first we need to identify what these words mean in the context of this problem. So when we talk about length of a slide, we are talking about its length on the diagonal. And they tell us that the length is 10 meters. So I'm going to indicate that on the picture. And the height of the slide is 3 meters. So that's the vertical distance. And the question is asking, what is the ground length of the slide? So the ground length of the slide would be this horizontal, and that's what we want to find. I'm going to call it capital L for length. So I could redraw this as a, right triangle where the hypotenuse is 10, one side is 3, and then another leg is unknown. This is a right triangle because height and horizontal length are perpendicular to each other. So I can solve this with the Pythagorean theorem. So first I'm going to identify the sides of my right triangle, and I'm going to take special care to call the hypotenuse C. And then the legs I can call A and B, and it doesn't matter which one is which. So now I can apply the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And again, it's important to make sure that A and B are both legs of your right triangle and that C is your hypotenuse. Once I have that, I can plug in my values. So I will say that L squared plus 3 squared equals 10 squared. And again, what I've done here is I'm taking A and I'm simply making a substitution and putting in L for A. I'm looking for B. B is 3, so I'm substituting 3, and C is 10, so I'm looking at C and substituting in 10. Now I get to do some algebra. L squared, let me go back to my pen here. L squared plus 9 equals 100. So I went to my, I knew those values, but if I didn't know, I would use a calculator, and I'd be looking for the x squared button on my calculator to do that. So I might be pressing 3, and then on a scientific calculator, x squared, and that should give you 9. And my next step to solve for L is to subtract 9 from both sides of the equation. And when I do that, I get L squared equals 91. And my last step is to undo this squared. So to undo squared, we take the square root. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And the square root of 91, I'm going to my trusty calculator again. Actually, I'll show you how I'm going to do it on this calculator. All calculators are different, so you've got to be kind of careful. First, I'm going to turn the calculator on, and I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to type in 91, and then I'm going to hit that square root button, and I get 9.539. I'm going to round this to 2 decimal places, so I'm going to round to 9.54. So let me go back to my notes. Back to my notes. So I figured out that L was 9.54. And the units on that was meters. So we figured out that this length is 9.54 meters. All right, hope that gets you started on this modeling assignment. Good luck.